Hello everyone, this is Daniel, and I'm going to talk about opinions for you. It's not my opinion. I'm going to base this off of truth. So if it's basically an opinion on the Bible, don't listen to it. If it's opinion on politics, don't listen to it. If it's opinion on the world economics and worldly things, don't listen to it. If it's really just an opinion about the church, and it's just an opinion about a church and what they believe in, don't listen to it. If it's an opinion about religion, don't listen to it. If it's opinion on salvation, never listen to it. Even if it's an opinion on a combination of things, just don't listen to it. And, there's going to be a lot of opinions out there. Many people will not change from that, actually. If not any. There may be people that change from being opinion makers and just getting their salvation. But opinion is just an opinion. Just like what it is, like opinion is to a salvation. An atheist will have an opinion about just about everything. And a believer that has opinions on others, they're like atheists. And the Bible talks about opinions very directly, that anyone who has opinion is to be left, alone. Not directly, but, anyone that has opinions, it's better not bother with them because, the worldly, unless you're praying for them, which is a good thing to do. Pray for those who are opinion makers, but there are such things as having an honest opinion and then dishonest opinions, and most of the people these days are having dishonest opinions. And if you look at my page on YouTube and see a lot of comments on YouTube, you'll see a lot of opinions, pro-Russia, anti-Russia, pro-vaccine, anti-vaccine. I believe those are, dishonest opinions. I know of a person that is basically battling other people about vaccines, and, I can support the vaccine, but I'm not going to support it to the point to where I'm saying, oh, everyone must have it. Let everyone do whatever they need to do with their vaccine. However, my point to make is, well, if you have an opinion about something, it's better left not talked about unless you want to ask about your opinion and you ask, is this right? Because if you're blatantly talking about your own opinions and you're saying, well, this is what I believe, then that better be believing in the truth. If it's a lie, just don't talk about it. However, many people that talk about their own opinions, most of them are believing in a lie. Not all of them, but most of them. So opinions, they come from the source of the mind. They think they're right all the time. That's what the opinion is. And I believe that anyone who has opinions over their own, if they think they're right and they have opinions of that, that's called pride, in my opinion. Well, I believe that's a pride. And, honest opinions are good, but again, that's, pride is pride. So, this is not going to be popular, but why boast for opinions? Why is this really what I'm talking about? Well, yeah. Again, this is an end times matter. People having their own opinions. This is really end times matter because when people have the internet, they are full of opinions. And why do I say that? The Bible predicted about people with their own opinions and people the way they would behave today. Look up in Matthew chapter 24, and I believe another one is, Luke. And just keep on looking about the prophecies in the Bible, and you'll see that they'll add up. And not only that, that in the end days, and at the very end of the end days, people will be scoffers and mockers. It's not just opinions. It's people saying, "Oh, my opinion is better," and I'm mocking you for it. I'm not good at finding who is a scoffer and a mocker, because they're deceiving those who are weak in that kind of scoffing and mocking. But they say, "Oh, my opinion is better than yours," and I mock you for that. That's what they're saying. And you can easily find those who are scoffing you and mocking you. And even to the point of jeering you just with your opinions. And I'm not just saying that to basically make you not want to talk about God anymore, but you have to be careful about how you talk about God, because if you think that person is genuine with their opinions, most of them are not genuine with their opinions. They're trying to deceive you with their opinions, for the most part. There are many that are not trying to deceive you with their opinions, but most of them, they want you to become like them in their opinions. Some of them don't know they're deceiving, and some of them do know they're deceiving. And obviously, there's a lot of people that are being deceived. And the internet is really run by the devil. I know this sounds weird, and I know that maybe you think, well, that's not right. The internet is basically of the air. It is of the air, and I believe it is run by the prince of the air, which is Satan. And the air is also run by demons. So you think, well, why do you say that right now? Because the internet really is a tool to deceive. In some ways, it's to deceive for the good. It's deceived for the better way, and some to deceive for the horrible way. For good reasons, the internet will make you think. But for bad reasons, for the most part, it destroys your soul. So people will continue on getting worse and worse, and not much better will come. Not a lot of people will get better because of the internet. So, if you want, you can fast from the internet and read your Bible. And read King James, whatever translation you can find that is good. Just read that. Because once you read that good old Bible, you're going to think of the internet a different way. I know that for a fact. You're going to think, well, that internet is horrible. It's evil. It's filled with curses. And there's a group of people called the Grace Believers. They believe in by faith alone, by Christ alone, and by grace alone, by faith alone, and by Christ alone. So they think, well, all you have to do is have faith that Jesus will take your sins away. Faith. Well, did the Bible say that faith without works is dead? That's what James said. And you're thinking, well, that's not true. Look in the Bible. James did exactly say that. He said, faith without works is dead. And you're saying, what about Jesus? What about love? Let me go to love. Love, okay. If you're, what was it? If you have no love, you're like a clanging cymbal for some. Yeah, you can look it up in, I believe, Corinthians. Because if you have works without love, you're like a clanging cymbal. You're like nothing. You're annoying. So there has to be faith and works. If you're having works without love, you're annoying. And you have to have faith and love. You have to have faith. You have to have love. So faith. So basically, it goes like this: faith, works, and love. But that's not by works that we're saved. You want to do works when you're saved, but that's not what it's all based off of. Because we're all sinful in the flesh. And we still have our own corrupted flesh, and we have to be a spirit in order to be sin-free. So am I scrambling your mind, oh grace believer? Because I mean, you say you have to believe, but that's just, there's a combination of things. And there's something that is just belief, but there's also faith and genuine work with the faith and just with love. It's not works that save you again. So what is salvation, you're wondering? You're wondering, what exactly is salvation? Belief is one of them. Belief and faith is one of them. But there's something that you may want to do with that. It's not by, it's not by belief. It's by belief alone. Well, yeah. Look at John 3:16 and understand. Let me say that to you. For God so loved the world so much, gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. So, believe in him. That really means to have a relationship with him. That means to choose Jesus. Believe in him, trust in him, that he's going to save you. But believe in is a relationship type of thing that they meant to say. Pisteuo, which means have trust in him. But to pisteuo, persuade. It means persuade. Just persuade someone for that salvation. So, pisteuo, persuade, that's, I want that salvation, I want it right now, type of thing. Persuade Jesus to give you that salvation. Persuade him for salvation. So, once you ask Jesus to be with him in heaven, that means, yes, you'll be with him in heaven by believing and just really knocking at the door of that judge and just begging for salvation. You have to know the root Hebrew word and Greek word to know what salvation really is these days. Back then you didn't have to understand what that really meant, because you had the languages for salvation. You all understood what that salvation was. Today it's mumbled. Well, just believe. In my own blunt opinion, it's persuade. Persuade with belief. I would say in the passage of either Mark or Matthew, there was a beggar with a corrupt judge. And the judge would just keep on not, he was so corrupt and evil that he would not let her get the thing that she wanted, the money that she wanted, or anything like that. And she kept on begging. Later, it was granted. Do you know anything about the vaccine and why people are protesting against the vaccine? The truckers keep going after the doors of the Canadians, and they're going after the doors of Americans, and someday they'll get that wish granted. And these people are evil. Do you think God is the same? No. He is completely the opposite. If you just ask and knock, like he asked to knock on your door, do you want me? All you have to do for salvation is knock on his door. Not literally, but just ask for his salvation with belief. By believing, you'll get it by asking. Once you ask for his free gift of salvation, you're getting it. And you're forever getting it. And there's no turning back. So, in a better word for this is, ask for salvation. For God so loved the world so much that anyone who asks for salvation will get it, and they shall not perish. So, pursue, persuade, just know and ask. If you seek out salvation, you're getting it. They'll not perish. And now let's go back to the end days. The end days were, back 2,000 years ago, were basically back then people were always panicking, well, there's one that's going to cause the end of the world. There wasn't the technology. However, today we have technology that we can implant in demons to become a part of us. Now, if we understand what's going on, it's just a mark, implant, things like that. We have the right technology for that. And people with their opinions, saying, well, that's not true. Look at the whole entire Bible and just say, what's true, what's not true about the Bible. Because if you say that part of the Bible is not true, if you say we must work to get salvation, or all we have to do is believe with confusion, maybe people are confused about how do you believe? How do you believe? The preachers get it. They say, oh, that's all you have to do. No. You have to ask the Lord for His salvation. And then there's people that are agnostic and saying, oh, there's a God, but we don't know if it's real. And there's people that are atheists that reject God, or just flat out say, oh, I don't think there's a God. We don't believe there's a God. We believe in the earth. Some of them will believe in Mother Earth. Some of them will believe in Buddhism, Shintoism, and anything that is pertaining to self. And they'll hate Muslims, they'll hate Jews for some part. Some of them will hate Hinduism. But sure, they won't hate, Buddhism, which is all about self. And they sure won't hate Shintoism, which is all about self. And if they find a witch, they'll say, okay, that's cool, but you're just doing things I don't believe in. But that's cool. But we as a Christian understand that witches and wizards, back then they had little demon thieves that would steal from the dead. That was evil. Then today, how do they steal from the dead? Well, the demons collect that money, and you're wondering, where did that money go? Well, that person's part of hell now, isn't he? And even worse, why are they now part of hell? And why is that money gone? People are going to wonder, why is the money gone? Because they know of a witch. Or the witch found them. It's still theft. They still get money somehow, by jobs or anything like that. But back then in the 60s, that's why they had to move him, because it was all getting all the money was going electronic, and no one knew what to do. But they just said, okay, we'll work in jobs. That was a movement for Satanism and witches back in the 1930s, when they knew, well, there's going to be electronics anyway, so why don't we rebel and work together? Back then, witches and wizards never worked. So they had little demons steal things. Now they work together in the Mason group, and that's how they get their money. They work, and they get their pay. But now let's go to the end days. How are they a part of this? Witches and warlocks and wizards and Satanists, I believe, are distorting Christianity. They're making Christianity part of the gods and all that sort of thing. Like they're making Christianity part of Buddhism, Shintoism, Hinduism, all of that. And you have the Catholic faith with people that are Buddhists and people that are on the rugs as Muslims, bowing down to the Quran and bowing down to, not to Quran, but bowing down to Allah, bowing down to Muhammad, which they know that Muhammad is a prophet and Allah is their God. But then there's also someone else that is a monk, part of the Buddhism, which they do things like yoga and they do their own witchcraft, more like I'm saying, like New Age stuff. And then you also have New Age doing their own like, I don't know what that word is anymore. I don't pay attention to that, but as you can see, the church is being infiltrated by witchcraft. And that witchcraft is going in the Catholic Church, it's going in a lot of churches. Not only that, it's going it's making the church gay. It's making the church say, oh, I want to have another body. I want to have a body of an animal. I want to become a woman because I'm a man. I don't want to be a man anymore. I want to be a woman. Guys, someday the church will not have freedom and they'll bend backwards just to become gay. A gay pride church, and all the churches will have a rainbow flag, even though that's basically, by law, they should have a rainbow flag on the church. Almost all of them will bend over backwards, and the ones that are breaking the law of let's not have a flag over our church because it's not part of the Bible, and God is going to judge our church for that, they'll be arrested and will be persecuted. America, I believe, is Babylon because of the witches and warlocks and Satanists. And all of that started in England and went all over the world. And this new Satanist guy, not new anymore, but Anton LaVey, maybe? I think it was Anton LaVey. Yeah, Anton LaVey. He was the one that lived in America. He was the one that lived in San Francisco, I believe. And he just wrecked the church in America. Completely wrecked it. And I blame him for not finding any churches in New England. He may have just done witchcraft in New England and just said, okay, New England is part of this, and the South is part of this, and Texas is part of this, and all that is part of his own agenda. That was my honest opinion about that. People have their own opinions, dishonest opinions. The Bible talks about the truth. I want to talk about the truth. And I think that's not about the truth, it's opinions. Just opinions. Mere opinions in the mind. I looked all of this stuff up. And the things that are going on in the world, I see that. I see what's going on. Aleister Crowley was the first Satanist who was special because he made himself the new order of a new religion. And then Anton LaVey made it into Satanism. And did you know that someday the Catholic Church will become part of a Satanist group? So the Catholic Church will one day bend over backwards for the Satanists, gay agenda, and other religions, and witchcraft. And the fifth part is their own religion, which is no longer a Catholic and Christian religion, but a cult. And a real one at that too, and it's going to be all government. And that's the sixth part. It's going to be all government. The church is going to be part of the government, and it's going to be all worldwide. And no longer will you no longer should you ever bend over backwards when they ever get that implantation. Like, let's say they make a chip That chip should probably come within, I don't know, a year or so, maybe a few months. Maybe it's not a chip. Maybe it's biological. By now it's going to be imprinted or embedded in you. That I do know. However, I did see an old movie, probably from 2000, that said it was going to be like a chip. It was going to be biological. So, if it says anything about biological, do not take it. And anyone that's in the angel on a 3.5 year will say, blessed are those that do not take it. Why? Or do not take it. In that language, I think it meant did. So had taken it. So why is it, a blessing? Because that mark of the beast will come before the 3.5 years. I believe. I know this is true, but I believe it's going to come before the 3.5 years. It'll still be in development before the 3.5 years. But on the other hand, that development comes very swift and very sudden at the halfway mark. And you're thinking, oh, well, it's just opinions I'm talking about, right? You're going to other topics. Opinions came from the devil. Opinions are so destructive that Aleister Crowley and Anton LaVey started this on the internet by his own implication, by the computer. I don't know if that's really what I think it is, but he may have been implicating that he started a cult, and then another one started another cult, and they all started by Satanism, and the Satanists are with the witches, and the witches and warlocks are going on the internet, deceiving those on the internet. So it didn't start by them, but it started by whoever followed with them. So, if you ever hear of people saying, I salute to Putin, I salute to Ukraine, I hate NATO, I love NATO, or anything like that, just don't listen to them. Don't listen to anything that is basically pro-war, anti-war, because none of that will matter. In what I believe, the only thing that matters is God and Jesus. Listen to the Bible only. Because today, the Bible is the only thing that matters anymore. Nothing else. Not even the internet. Because all the internet, I believe, is all lies. The Bible is the only thing that's true. If you're wondering, Historicos. 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 What was it called? Persuado. Persuade God for salvation. All I have to do is persuade God for salvation. For God so loved the world so much that whoever persuades him for salvation shall get it, and they shall not perish. Alright, I'll be done now, okay?